Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran, and in today's video I want to discuss and show you guys what I do with my alts primarily for the patch 8.2. I feel like I missed the boat talking about how essences are very not alt friendly, which was a popular topic recently. But instead of talking more and giving you the same opinions that you've heard, let me give you guys a way that I go around the issue when it comes to dealing with my alts, gearing, as well as essences. So the purpose of the video is to give you guys the most efficient ways that I deal when it comes to trying to get my alts to a reasonable state where they are actually legitimately playable. It's hard to spend a lot of time on our alts with so much stuff to do in patch 8.1. I personally have been spending the bulk of my time on my main, making sure they're the best character. And there's so much you can do outside of raids and dungeons that I barely have time for alts. So for someone who's like me, who's investing all my time into one main while also trying to split whatever amount of time as efficiently as I can to gear up some usable alts, this video just might be for you. Let's first talk about gearing process. When it comes to gearing your character, you gotta decide whether you want to make this character a real character that you actually want to play, whether it be in PvE or PvP content, or if you're someone who is more casual. This part is actually very important to distinguish, and you have to be honest with yourself. Do you just want to have a character you log on and play the game casually? Not really looking to get into heroic raids or anything crazy. Just something so you can actually have a usable character, but you're not quite concerned with the min-maxing aspect of the game. You just want to have a doable character with a high enough level so you won't get declined for dungeons. Or maybe you want to get a more hardcore character, something where you want to learn how to play the spec, improve on it, and basically play it like you would with your main, trying to get better gear and better performance out of it, but not quite investing serious amounts of time into it. Getting the taste for it just so you know what the spec is like as a potential future main. So now that you guys understand where I'm coming from when I'm trying to give you a quote-unquote usable character, let's get into the gearing aspect of this video. We will be utilizing lots of benthic gear, and a spoiler alert, if you do want to get geared through other methods, dungeons and raids are perfectly fine, or PvP. But if you do want a character that you don't want to spend too much time on, I would say that the benthic gear might be your best avenue. What we will be doing in order to get us the best possible gear, first of all, from the benthic system is look for sockets. You want to buy tokens for benthic loot and reroll until you get a socket. In patch 8.2, it's all about the sockets. Sockets provide 50 of whatever stat you want into your gear, and it almost feels like in patch 8.2 a reforged system. You get 50 raw stats of what is the best needed for your spec or class. If your alt, for example, has 6 pieces of gear that has a socket, that amounts to 300 of a raw stat that your spec may need. Now, benthic gear can be done in different ways. You can either get specific best-in-slot benthic pieces that come with extra side effects that are really good inside of a raid, but we are not going to be focusing on that in this video. Unless you're someone who primarily wants to play your alt inside of the raids, then those extra bonuses might matter. But honestly, it takes a little bit too long to get the specific ones, and specific ones with a socket. In my honest opinion, just getting a piece of gear with a socket, already you're getting a pretty big boost in terms of the stats that you would get out of your gear. So the main plan is to get as much benthic gear with as many sockets as possible and have a character full of sockets. So the best way is to divide all of your characters that you have. The more alts, the easier and the faster they should be, but also means that you'll have to spend more time grinding for the pieces. Figure out which alt is going to be the funnel. This alt will receive all of the benthic tokens and will be re-rolling on said tokens until they get a piece of loot, any type of benthic gear with a socket. So you'll be logging on every single one of your main characters and alts and trying to do the Najatar activities, as many of them as you can, as efficiently as possible to earn as many mana pearls. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys remember what Nazjatar activities they are, but let's go over them again real quickly if you are not aware. Some of the most efficient ways of getting mana pearls in Nazjatar is simply to do activities on Nazjatar. You will have these followers on both Horde and Alliance that grow in levels. Every time they reach certain milestones in levels, they give rewards, and one of those rewards can be mana pearls. But every one of the followers, whichever one you pick, is always going to have 3 world quests on the map for you to do, and every one of them is going to reward 2 mana pearls for 6 mana pearls a day. Other NPCs around the starting zone for Alliance or Horde in Nazjatar are also going to have a variety of quests that could reward mana pearls. Now, the rewards are different per character, so let's say you log on a druid and you got some of the denizens of Nazjatar asking you to collect some sea kelp, and you collect 5 of them for 5 mana pearls. But you log on your hunter to try to do the same quest, but your hunter might have a different reward, like artifact power, gold, or maybe war resources. So please pay attention to the quests and the rewards that you get, and only take the ones that give you mana pearls. While you are out in the world and doing those world quests, feel free to kill whatever rares you want, but also try to be efficient about it. If you are trying to spend as least amount of time on your ults, don't go out of your way to kill rares, but if you have one on the way from quest to quest or from location to location, then you might as well swoop down and DPS it a bit. Lastly, once a week there are a variety of different activities that can be done in Nazjatar. One of the more consistent activities that you can do on every character every time the servers reset, Tuesday for US, Wednesday for EU, will be a cave where there is a spell book that activates a quest. There you'll be able to summon up an elemental and empower it if you want to, but the quest just for completing that is going to reward you at least 5 mana pearls. Majority of your mana pearls will be gotten through leveling up your followers, however, and reaching milestones where followers will reward you with various loot, but also a lot of mana pearls. These followers generally reward you with lackluster loot at the start, you know, level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but closer to level 10, 15, and 20, they'll reward you with better and better loot every time you reach a brand new milestone. So that is the system that we'll be utilizing to get the mana pearl gear. Couple of things on the gearing system. You want to spend as least amount of time with this as possible. Come on, I know you want to spend not a lot of time. While you could take every one of those alts and go running around killing rares all over the map, if you have all the free time, be my guest. But the idea is to get an efficient way to farm up gear and other resources in order to get an alt ready for actual content. So efficiency is going to be key here, and being able to do this every single day is also going to be important. Having a steady amount of mana pearls coming in every single day will give you an idea how long it's going to take to funnel that gear to your alt. The alt that's getting the gear funneled is going to be opening up all these mana pearl tokens for benthic gear. You are looking for anything with a socket. Once you have a socket, move on to another category. Another thing that I will recommend for a lot of you guys, this is something I personally do on my alts. I will funnel my gear to the funnel character, but once that character is full of socketed benthic gear, I will keep logging on that character every single day and collect mana pearls and eventually upgrade every single piece of gear. I'll make sure all of it has a socket, but now that character is pretty self-sufficient, as in I can actually play that character. I just need to be sure to log on, get my benthic gear farming done. And if it's an alt that I have any interest in, then I would usually take the time to go and kill some rares and test out my DPS and have some fun with that character. Another thing you can also do is you could try killing some of the world bosses that spawn, and they do rotate with different world bosses every single week. Also, from the world bosses, you are looking at gear, but you are also looking at socketed gear. For example, I just got a pretty bad trinket on my druid, but it has a socket, and because of that socket, that trinket now grows in a lot more value, even if that trinket by itself is not a good choice. Finally, we have the essence system, and this one, I do understand the struggle of what people say when it comes to essence systems being not too alt friendly. It's super not fun having to refarm that exalted reputation or the blood of the enemy 50,000 honor farmed in battlegrounds. But there are a lot of essences that a lot of classes may utilize as some of the valid choices if you want to have a functional alt with a really good essence, but you don't really want to have to farm any of the rep-based essences. So in this video, I'll also provide you guys some of the best choices for DPS, tanks, and healers when it comes to their essences. Some of the easier essences to get, but also some of the more efficient ones. For DPS, we have the Crucible of Flame, which is the very first essence that you start with. Actually, a very solid essence for a lot of classes. It's actually quite good in PvP because you can use it to heal yourself and do damage. Can be used by healers, tanks, and DPS, and it doesn't impede in your rotation. Another one that's really good to recommend is going to be Lucid Dream. Now this isn't for everybody, so be sure to check on websites if your spec can utilize it, but Lucid Dream generally plays with resource generation. For a Destro Warlock, more soul shards means more chaos bolts, which generally means more damage, and other classes like. Then you have the PvE activities where you can get the Iris for doing a +4 mythic plus dungeon, or better yet a 7, not that much more difficult, but gives you a laser beam to fire, which makes for a very solid essence for AoE, but also in some single target situations. Then we have healers. With healers, I recommend the Lucid Dream. This one allows mana regeneration to occur once you use it, and has a chance whenever you heal allies with your mana to have spells refund some of that mana at a proc chance. I feel like mana is useful for all healers, and yeah, some healers use this essence more than others, but mana to a healer is useful in battlegrounds, in arenas, in dungeons and raids, and this is why for healers I recommend snagging Lucid. Very easy to get. You get Lucid from doing your follower activities and leveling up your followers, so while you're farming Benthic, you'll be able to gain this essence basically for free. For tanks, it's a mixed bag because every tank is different. The way they deal with damage, what type of damage they're better suited to deal with, it's going to determine what type of essence you run with. For tanks, I would recommend the Crucible of Flame. It allows for self-heal or for damage when you don't need a self-heal. This one isn't the best for every single tank spec, and if you are gonna tank as any of these classes and are serious about tanking requires a little bit more concentration and responsibility. So if you want to be a responsible tank, responsibly look up the essences best for your spec. But if you just want to mess around on one, Crucible of Flame is a decent introductory choice. Anyway guys, hopefully this was everything you needed in order to start playing some alts. I've only recently started playing my alts left and right. I'm picking up all these specs that I haven't played in a while, playing a bit of Affliction Warlock, back to that Survival Hunter, giving Shadow Priest a real try, and I have a couple more characters on the way trying to climb to level 120 so that I can actually play them and test them out myself. Anyway guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. Hopefully you found it helpful, and I'll see all of you in another video.